Hello again, it's your friendly neighborhood host, JT Wheatley, back for another episode of the History of Comics podcast. This time with another edition of the classics with the miniseries Elektra Assassin by Frank Miller and Bill Seinkiewicz. This is a now classic 8-issue miniseries that was published originally under Marvel's Epic line that was separate from their more mainstream line, and thus was able to be published outside the Comics Code as depicted in the storyline, and ran from August of 1986 to March of 1987, and it was basically the story of Elektra, who, after recovering in a mental ward, finds out that there's this creature called the Beast is trying to engineer the election of a president who will bring about nuclear war, and fights to stop him, only to find herself actually being thwarted by S.H.I.E.L.D., particularly one agent named Garrett, who may or may not turn out to be her ally in the end. This is honestly a very crazy story. It's Frank Miller, who at this point was at the peak of his powers after Dark Knight Returns and Daredevil Born Again and so forth. And he was pretty much, you could tell he's allowed to pretty much do what he wants. He's very experimental with this. In many ways, it's a satire of espionage and ninjas and spy magazines and so forth. And he also, people have joked that there's also a strange pointed jab against Dan Quayle, but Bill Seinkiewicz, who illustrated the book, states point blank, no, that's a self-portrait. I just happen to look like Dan Quayle. So we can go off that. But yeah, this is a little bit different, but this is Frank Miller. Honestly, it's Frank Miller before he goes overboard. I honestly feel this is while he does veer along the edge, he doesn't quite go off as he does in later books, notably The Dark Knight Strikes Back. But in this one, Elektra Assassin, this is a very enjoyable read. It's cool to see Elektra in a starring role in a more mature line. Garrett's a very interesting S.H.I.E.L.D. character. And the art by Bill Seinkiewicz, which has an almost watercolor feel to it, is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, Elektra honestly never looked this good before. She's just seductive and powerful and mysterious all at once. So yeah, you want to look something a little bit different from Frank Miller and, of course, the great Bill Seinkiewicz. Check out Elektra Assassin. That is a classic miniseries. He's probably easily available in trade paperback at this point. But yeah, great read all around if you're looking for something a little different. And in my opinion, a true classic.
Look, we gotta talk.
Yeah, Thunder Talk.
We're going all kinds of sideways with that sweet nerd junk.
Woke nerd junk.
It's topical.
Political.
Dare I say radical.
We've got all your latest news and reviews.
Hot music.
And a whole lot of comedy.
But it ain't for kids.
Definitely mature content.
So let's talk.
Let's talk Thunder Talk.
Thunder Talk is a proud member of the ESO network.
Now is September 9th, 2021, time for my favorite comic of the week. May's book, number 1, by Jeff Lemire, which is at first a tragic story about a building inspector who is dealing with the death of his daughter by just going through the daily routines in life, going out, doing his job, and so forth. But discovering that he's kind of stuck in the maze that is his life right now. But all that seems to come to a head with a tragic twist at the end that really shows this book may be going in a crazy new direction. This is a great book by Jeff Lemire, who not only does the writing but also the art. And people have always pointed out when Lemire decides to do the art, it's always a big event because he has a very cool abstract style that's creepy just by reading it. And he does a great job illustrating the maze of this man's life. How he's just like something that's in a simple routine shows he's actually stuck and just trapped in like where is the cubicles or the street corners and so forth. And it's, like he's just almost trapped, and he may find the way out, as there's a nice motif about there's a red thread off of one of his daughter's favorite sweaters that could be the way out. Nice homage to the Legend of Theseus, how he used a thread to get out of the labyrinth with the Minotaur layer and so forth. So we'll see where this goes. But yeah, very intriguing, neat twist at the end. Great writing and art by, of course, Jeff Lemire. He's one of the best creators in the business right now. So yeah, definitely check out May's book, number 1, looking at something neat to read. And of course, the big news outside of comic books was Shang-Chi, the Legend of the Ten Rings came out over the weekend and that is an absolutely fantastic film, one of Marvel's best in recent years. Simu Liu is fantastic as the title character, is an instantly charming lead, along with some great martial arts prowess. Awkwafina, of course, is hilarious as his platonic best friend, who, despite being female, they have a nice, casual friendship, which is great and real fun and supportive of one another. But honestly, the best performance in the film is Tony Leung, who, great Chinese actor who gives a real great performance as Shang-Chi's villainous father. But unlike other villains in the past, his motivation is really emotional, and you just have to see where it's going. But beautiful film, and behind the camera, the writer-director's craft is great homage to past martial arts and Asian films with the appearances of classic Asian characters and mythological creatures. Some great fight scenes, and a nice twist at the end. And and also a character from a previous Marvel film shows up, and it works perfectly in the film when you realize where it was going. Yeah, so just a great watch. Highly recommended. Of course, the film did great over the Labor Day weekend, set the Labor Day weekend records. Even with its own classic Marvel, that's what they do. So definitely check it out if you get a chance. And also, of course, I am back from Dragon Con this weekend. Had a great time. Tried out the old Spider-Man Yar costume, which is apparently a big hit with a lot of fans. I'm probably bringing it back again when they do the parade full time, because I have a feeling the kids will definitely love it. That's why we do the parade, for the kids. It's so much fun. But also I have to give congratulations again to my friends Dan Klink and Mark McCrae, whose panel that Friday night at the Hilton at Dragon Con on the inspiration of Star Trek the Animated Series was fantastic. Great work by both of them. Great Q&A, despite some strange hecklers showing up and trying to ruin it. I mean, they claim I was a part of it. I don't know what they're talking about. There was a guy in a Spider-Man Noir outfit, but you can't prove that was me. I mean, Beth, Kavika, Adam, and Anthony were there doing all the heckling, so I don't know what they're talking about. Yeah. But overall, yeah, definitely great panel. Hopefully, if you listen to the Thunder Talk feed, you might be able to listen to the audio of that. We'll see where that goes. But yeah, congratulations again to Mark and Dan on that panel. And until then, I hope everyone has another good week. Probably joining you next week when there'll probably be another edition of the Classics. Still hard at work on episodes and so forth. Oh, and another thing about Dragon Con, I did get to meet my all-time favorite artist, John Romita Jr., and attend and go to a few of his panels. Fantastic storytelling. He gets to know about his career, his father, how he's a big influence, the origin of the look of one of his creations, Typhoid Mary, which is actually hilarious. You never heard the story. And I got a signed print from him with the Punisher, which is very cool too, because he looked at that print and he goes, "Why does it look so good?" Oh, Klaus Janson did it, which, yeah, makes sense. Klaus Janson, one of the great inkers of all time. But yeah, great Dragon Con. Great to be back at conventions. And once again, hope you have a good week. Join me again next week for another edition of the Classics. And until then, go out and enjoy yourself a good comic book. And if you like to, check out Elektra Assassin. Something different, and in my opinion, a true classic.